highest honor to the prophet. It's so real. I love how this sounds. Yo, we needed a prophet and one was sent. So from all our sinful ways, we can repent, make things better for the children out us. I know good citizens that got their hands cuffed by color of authority and color of law. We're not inferior person, you're outside of law or outlaw. They might call you ruthless because you're acting like Orpa and don't know what the truth is. Making claims you do, but caught in emotions, being parts of movements that lacks motion. Activity is nil, null, and void. Haven't mastered Earth, but your cosmic and right asteroids. Waiting for the mothership, that's macabre. Thinking that the mother isn't also the father. Thinking that our son is the only one. Thinking young men are killed with only guns. We got it so twisted with pretzel thoughts. Talk big by yourself, but when you're in court, pulled over by piggies, giving them jurisdiction. To kill a racist cracker talk is the purest fiction. All y'all do is talk it and don't walk it. Then claim it's racism and they made you forfeit. Throwing in the towel, moving your bowels in skinny jeans when you hear or see the sirens. What's wrong with colored people? They're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually snakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. What's wrong with colored people? They're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually snakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. Talk is cheaper, action's cheaper. Thought you had the Molotov and street sweepers to kill pigs dead, I'm sure that's what you said. Cause from Panthers and Malcolm X is what you read. It got you nowhere and got them dead. Arguing rights in a black status shot in the head by your own people who took a check instead of nationalizing, deciding to work for the feds. Children hungry, but they're not talking that bread when making excuses. Why from A to Z? They say they never sold out, even though they hold out. Prophet said, seat them in the back, don't get the old out. New Moors were on the way, but now we're here. Moors conscious, dress their best, not like rapping queers. Selling their soul, they go to market their bodies on the auction block, red carpet. I'm speaking what's true, but hearing I'm rude, not true. Y'all are squares like a Rubik's Cube. Always asking who's this dude. I don't catch feelings. Why push pillars if you can't catch ceilings? Too much backdoor and under table dealing. Keep that up and I'll keep trader revealing. I keep eating rappers, MCs mealing. Fire I spit, got reptilian skin peeling. What's wrong with colored people? They're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually snakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. What's wrong with colored people? They're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually snakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. Astro boy, the cosmic, this may be esoteric, but who knows it will feel it. Put cap fit, won't wear it, and the fest fit speak it. If you have questions, ask for more. Shorties, make your mind explore. You're more than a black man. The cock is planned, destroy a nation. Consent to being black, so the power is fiction. The effects of the Inquisition. My brown hand holds my ink in position. Sell out, exterminate you quick for my existence. If you think you can't corner our resistance, instant without thinking. I make it unbearable, think the unthinkable. Try to battle God who honors 5 principles. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. This I seek through my exodus. If I told you I was white, you'd probably say, who the f*** is this? Dictionary's not wrong, it's just your perspective. If the fountain says color, why you drink it? You just signed an agreement. Salute. Salute. What's wrong with colored people? They're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually snakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. What's wrong with colored people? They're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually snakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. Peace, Moors. Islam. We could rise, face the east. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Juali, Islam. Prophet warns all Muslim governors, Islam more. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your cards are for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet, and if they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Juali, and if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Juali. Islam. To be proclaimed at every meeting. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people on our side of the nation that claim that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works, which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Juali. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Islam. This is the instruction from your prophet, Noble Juali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I Noble Juali, and that's why many hearts have been turned to stone. Many have eyes to see, but cannot see, ears to hear, but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah would bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Juali. Islam to all the Moors, worldwide, wherever you're at. We're here, Canaanland Moors class, and we're carrying on. We're carrying on with our acknowledging the prophethood of Noble Drew Ali, because in this time that we're in, we're seeing things manifest that he brought attention to in the 1920s.
Right.
And majority of people didn't take him serious. Majority of people, like you said, thought it was a joke and unreal.
Yep.
They played make Noble Drew Ali be some type of fake prophet, or what he said isn't really what it is about, and whatever else they say. So there was a couple on the bandwagon of, you know, disrespect the prophet, that I forgot we didn't go through all their stuff. So we're gonna use the time to go through their BS, address some of the things that they're saying from the correct perspective, you know, with the hope that they're going to adhere to what their prophet brought to them, even though people who might look like them are going to talk crazy about Noble Drew Ali and his presentation to all the dark-skinned people of the Americas. All right. Islam, more, you got anything before we start up?
Islam, I was just, when you were reading the letters to be read before every meeting, in the second one, you read the part where they're, I think it's the one that when they were trying every scheme. No. I know it was the second letter, but pretty much about how they're gonna.
Again, we got time. Ain't nobody got anywhere to go right now, so we can go all the way,
right,
just to be safe, you know. So the second letter, to be proclaimed at every meeting. I'm glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation,
Islam
and citizens. Yeah, more.
Is right there. That was my first part. That struck me. That struck me. I was like, like for him to, you know, we read the letters now, and you can almost look at it. He wrote that for his time then, and we can read the letter now, and it's still sitting with us now. It's still Moors on our side of the nation who think that this is a. He didn't say Europeans. He didn't say, oh, the Europeans over there think that us Moors are a joke and all of this. He said people from our side of the nation think this is a joke and unreal. And it just, at that time, you know, and it just bugged me out, because now in so-called 2020, same thing going on. People on our side of the movement talking about, oh, us Moors, we don't deal with that sovereign citizen ideology crap. Like, brother, that's the same. The prophet said, enforce the Constitution. Then when you hear the letter, it's going to be Moors on our side of the nation who think that this is a joke and unreal. Well, go to the government officials and see if the prophet is alive. And then when we go check the records and we see that the prophet is de jure, everything he's bringing, but Moors on our side still thinking us Moors who push constitutional rights and whatnot, that's a joke. That's not part of the Moorish paradigm and all of that. Like, that's a joke. That's not what we should be doing. You know, and I'm just like, dang, man, we still doing that almost 100 years later. The Moors still on our side of the nation, Moors, us Moors, with turbans and fezzes on, think that what the prophet brung was a joke. Like, but you're more. And when we show exactly what the information is that's going on, you know, with us being able to, you know, it doesn't, you know, us being so-called Aboriginal indigenous to these lands, you know, and we read the prophets' literature, and it proves that the Moroccan Empire came over here and all of that. Moors in the temples act like that don't got nothing to do with it. Like they go with Moors came over here with the slave trade. Like how? When in the prophet's teachings, in the Circle 7, Holy Quran, you that the extension of the Moroccan Empire came over here. But again, the prophet told you in the letter, Moors on our side of the nation think that it was a joke and unreal. Like that just really set with me. When you read it the first time, I was like, wow, we doing that now. We doing that right now. It was another part too, if you wanted to keep reading.
All right. They are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me, so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my word. Islam more.
This quick question. When he says that the movement would not be acknowledged unless him being the head. Now, when he says that, I've always looked at it for any movement that so-called Negro colored blacks, any movement that they start, it's not going to work unless Noble Drew Ali is the head.
Right.
I've always looked like he wasn't just talking about us Moors who are in the temple and stuff, or proclaimed Moors. He wasn't just talking about us. He's talking about unconscious Moors, or people who even play in that game. Like, okay, I know about Noble Drew Ali, but I'm gonna still try to start NOI and all of this crap. It ain't gonna work because you got to put the prophet as the head.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I think he's talking to everybody. He's not just talking to Moors. He's talking to
if he's a universal prophet, he's not talking to Moors. He's specifically talking to Asiatics in North America. You know, that he has to get his acknowledgement. Are you not going to honor the prophet when he was before everybody who you honor today? But you're not going to honor him. He's before everybody who you honor today, but you're not going to honor him.
Right. And they all branched off of certain aspects of what the prophet brought. They all just took it, flipped it, made a profit off of it, and pushed it their way. But it always crumbles. Why? Prophet told you in the 20s, it ain't gonna work unless you put me as the head. And that's another prophecy too, because none of them worked.
Yeah. Yeah. The nations of the world.
None of them worked. Look at the world now. Look at the world. None of it worked. Y'all, we didn't put Noble Drew Ali at the head. Hey, it still ain't working.
Yeah, look where we are. Yeah.
Look where we are.
And then the other part of it, with regard to prophet being the head, was all the people he knew that was going to pretend to be him.
Exactly.
But you're not seeing his face, only in pictures. But then you're seeing some other individual claiming to be him. when Noble Drew Ali told them, be themselves. Noble Drew Ali told them, be themselves, and you today are following somebody who was trying to be Noble Drew Ali.
Right.
You tell me that Canaanland Moors are violating the prophet because we tell sisters wear their fezzes, but you're not violating by following somebody who's not being themselves. They're trying to be Noble Drew Ali to the point where they're taking his title,
right?
They're taking his appellation and pretending to be him. But those people you're following aren't in violation. But active Moors are in violation.
People following reincarnated prophet, Noble Drew Ali. When he told you it ain't gonna work unless it's me at the head, not reincarnated. Me, me, him, that again, guy.
Remember the lesson. Remember the lesson of the adepts. That if it's not written in the first person, Noble Drew Ali probably didn't write that.
Yep.
When you go through Noble Drew Ali's writings, you'll see the ones that were articles and the ones that were actual letters. Right? All right. Okay. Look at what Noble Drew Ali presented, how people did whatever it is that they want. Okay, you know what? Let's just go to the prophecies. Let's just go to the prophecies. All right, so you have over 200 prophecies. And again, like we said from the intro of the book, that Moors compiled this. It's not something from Noble Drew Ali. Moors compiled this. And the argument could be made, who really wrote this, was this, said, whatever, right? The fact that some of the things manifested, we have to consider it. The fact that when we go through these prophecies, we have to consider it. 57. Watch the newspapers and listen to the radio. I'm going to make the European tell the truth.
Oh, that's my favorite. That's one of my favorites.
You go on the radio right now. You go in the newspaper, and then we even got extra. We can even go on YouTube, and we can go on all this other stuff too. We're not just limited to newspapers and radios right now. You go, and I guarantee you, you'll hear some Europeans tell you the truth.
Oh, all of them.
Because the foot's on their neck too now. This is why Drew Ali said he's going to make them tell the truth. Yeah, because they've been telling the truth. Oh, but while everybody's comfy and cushy, lies could continue. Okay, well, everybody's getting it right now.
Oh, yeah, say that again, man. Say that again. Yep.
Everybody is getting it right now. Right? When you could go on Instagram Live and your favorite whoever is sitting there and you could interact with them live, you know stuff is because it wasn't as crazy as it is right now. That you could reach out and touch more than calling in on the radio, reach out and touch. But what else they gonna do? They ain't got no options. They have no options. And trust me, on there, the Europeans on there, favorite actor's son talking crazy. Who's European? Watch the newspapers and listen to the radio. Or watch the TV. Or watch the movies.
Yep.
Find a European and they're going to be telling the truth. Yeah, some of them are going to be lying, for sure. People on our side lie. But we're not concerned with that. We're concerned with truth.
To all of them European people who bring, the so-called government stuff to light that's going on, like the William Coopers,
yep.
That's all prophecies.
Yep.
Those are all prophecies from the prophet.
Exactly. All those
are to make the European tell. Yep.
So this is the one I wanted to get to. The Holy Prophet asked the Moors, "How many of you can do something?" He was inquiring as to how many of them could work magic. Some of the Moors stood up. The Prophet pointed his finger at them and said, "I'm going to kill you all." When the Prophet speaks, that is a message from Allah. The Holy Prophet Muhammad said, "The sorcerer will not enter paradise." Now, this is the angle that the people went in to try to do their thing individually. So let's just play that. So conscious RBG black guys and they're playing games.
That's the one. I know that ain't right. I know I ain't read that right. Ooh. No, he not. Hold on. I'm just trying to find it on the page so I can blow it up so we can read it together once again. Because I have the bigger article, as you can see. I'm just trying to find where the heck is it on this page.
Islam Grand Sheik, real quick.
Yeah, but
right there it is, folks.
No, it's just if you look at it before he starts talking. Now let's look at it. The swindle hoodwink guy is a European who likes to come on and diss Moors. He's using so-called conscious community black guy who disses Moors also to prove his point to diss Moors. But the conscious so-called black guy, the whole time they so-called beat on Europeans and the white man this and the white man that, but they're using you now to diss the Moors. Like, look at this. This is a European who they call the slave master, and You know, they kept us as slaves for 400 years.
The devil and all that.
He's using you to diss Moors. Like, I can't believe like this is even happening. This is part of history. This is in life right now. This is happening. This is really happening. Like, this is amazing to me. Like, yo, what is this? What is how? Like, now how is the so-called enemy to these guys now helping them to beat more, to go against Moors? How are they? It looks like y'all teaming up. The same people who y'all play, oh, that they're racist, and 400 years and all of that. Y'all teaming up against Moors. Y'all the same thing as this guy. What's the difference between that conscious community platform and SPLSC? What's the difference? It's the same thing. Y'all both pushing, we're not Moors. What's the difference? And then trying to diss Moors. Y'all both the same thing. Y'all working together. But on the scene and on what we supposed to look at, oh, they don't like the Europeans and the Europeans don't like, but no. But when the Moor comes, they teaming up on the Moor. How is that happening?
It's the same thing, and it's the same thing that the Indians do.
Exactly.
They're claiming that the Moors are the sellouts with the European or whatever, but when you go check the record, all you see Indians do is treaties with the European.
Yep.
But then they're looking at Moors as if we're the sellouts.
Yep. And
we're saying the only reason that we're sellouts is because look at the black guys and the Indians. Look at their activity. It's sellout activity. So like Brother Yusuf said, they're teaming up to go against the Moors, to try to have you think that Noble Drew Ali is not legitimate, Noble Drew Ali this and Noble Drew Ali that. And we're saying, read what he put down. Read what he laid down. And see if that resonates with where you're supposed to be. Let's see if it resonates.
It just the saying the prophet said, you know, the Moors that were with me now, you know, and the ones that are against me, you know, it's the same ones now, basically. And so many, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But in so many, you know, it's the same thing. That's what we're looking at right now. The Moors back then that was against the prophet, today, the same Moors today that were against the prophet, because we read the letters from the prophet. The prophet was on the scene when they was dissing the prophet in front of him, in his face.
In his face. In his face.
In his face. Remember, we was talking about it the other day. So, you know, they imagine the people who had the heart to diss him in his face, and the people that was just like, man, if he wasn't here, I would do this. All of those people are in it now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, because he not here, he can't. So they going hard. But the prophet told you he'd do better work on the ethers. In the soul plane, forgive me.
Which is again why he told Moors that this is divine, not national.
It's just, yeah, it's crazy to see. Look at swindle, hoodwink. That's a European. The video the Grand Sheik's about to play is a so-called conscious black guy dissing Moors. And everybody know the swindle guy comes right in Grand Sheik's platform and disses Moors. He has his own so-called platform where he's dissing Moors. So we know what he's about. And then you go to the Sinetta camp and all of those guys over there, they're dissing Moors. And they're siding with each other. So, yeah, like this is unbelievable to me to see this. Like I don't see how, like, to me, the so-called black conscious guys should be mad that he's using their video because you guys don't like the so-called white man. You know, you go hard on the so-called white man. You should be mad he's using your video. But they're not. You know how Grand Sheik, when you use another Moore's video, he'll snitch to YouTube and tell. You think they're gonna do that?
No.
Why aren't they snitching on Swindle?
Yeah. Exactly. But they'll snitch on Moors.
Yep. Quick.
They're not black or showing them that they're a fraud.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Showing them talk all that kill cracker, but when Highwayman knocks on the window, they give a license, they get mad. You know, and go snitch on their brothers. But European, the enemy or whatever? Oh no. No way.
Again, the distraction. They keep thinking the coronavirus is what is out here. The coronavirus is the black, Negro colored, African American, Indian, Hebrew, and all that crap. That's the coronavirus. And now you're distracted. We're distracted now. You know, because I'm looking at it like, well, where you know, like, did the Moors do this, cause all this eruption because of the writs that was getting sent out? Like, because they're hurting more than what we're hurting. We not hurting. We've been like this forever. Them billion-dollar corporations is what's hurting. Those are the things that's shutting down. More's just sitting back watching it. That's what I was looking at. I'm like, did the Moors do this? Because the real sickness is the black. And because of the activity that the coronavirus episode show has put a slowdown on the activity that the Moors was doing. Yeah. Moors were going super active, super mode. Now you can't even, they don't want us outside. Why is that? Why is that? You can't even go outside. Go to the library and all. No. They're stopping a lot of stuff that the Moors was doing. The activity we were doing was too much. All over the world. We were sending writs all over the world, telling. And now it's all crumbling. It's crumbling. You didn't. I'm looking at it. I'm like, because a lot of their corporations is hitting fan. A lot of so-called CEOs are resigning. You know, so-called 2019, some of 2020. This is the most year of CEOs resigning ever. A lot, like we watching it fall. We're watching it. Even if it comes back, it's still we've never been through nothing like this ever. Something's going on. And I think it's the Moors activity that's shutting down a lot of things that's going on because we was very active.
And that's across the world, not just limited to North America only. Like, do you know people were declaring their nationality in so-called South Africa? They're Moors, and they're over there with the Moroccan flag over there because they read Ali's Holy Quran, and it said over there is also the Moroccan Empire. So what's the issue? Right? Moors near.
You got the Moors in Europe.
Moors than everywhere in Europe. You name it, there's Moors over there. That know
active, right and right.
Know about their birthrights, know that they're Moors, know that they're over there, and they have to do the things necessary for them over there. Has nothing to do with America only. Because when you talk Moorish, you're talking global. You know, you're talking every plane. You're talking every hemisphere.
Fonteas told him, you people are losing your powers all over the planet.
And that was then.
That was then.
Yeah, so you could be onto something.
That's what I've been sitting here just thinking about. I'm telling you, Grand Sheik, I'm like, no. My prophet is the man. That's all I kept saying. I'm like, nah, he's the man. It didn't, like, when you just start breaking it down from him. And I'm like, yeah, man. Like, he's really, like, if he brung us everything, we go back to sleep. He's the man. He's the man.
If he brung us everything, we'll go back to sleep. You're getting a glimpse of that everything.
Exactly. That's what hit me. That's what started. Exactly. Give thanks, Grand Sheik. That's what it was. I couldn't pinpoint it.
Yeah. Getting teased with everything. What it really is. Talk to another Martin and he's like, yo, I'm outside right now and this is what it's supposed to be like. This is exactly what it's supposed to be.
Right.
This is what life's supposed to be.
Yep.
Peaceful. Around your family.
Yep. Look at that.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, you can go outside for a walk and it's not 500 people out there bumping into you.
Yep.
Just has to play their role. You know?
Everything, like you said, peaceful. I'm talking about
more sent me videos from a few different places, right? And them outside, a couple other people over there. But you know, there's no issues like how you might hear on the news or whatever. You know what's going on. Put on your mask. You put on your bandana. You put on your whatever. You know what I mean? And I didn't see sun stop shining because of some COVID.
Nope. Man,
rain stop falling. Oh, COVID, rain stop falling. There's no rain. Oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? What are you talking about?
Grand Sheik, these Moors around here was having cookouts, having the music blasting at 3 o'clock in the morning. They've been having a good time. They ain't had to go do nothing. I ain't seen nothing. I was like, y'all Moors just been having cookouts and hanging out all night. People coming. I was like, okay. I see a couple of people with masks, but like you said, people peaceful, chilling, having more time. I'm seeing people, I go to the store, everybody in line got fishing material. Everybody going fishing, going camping, it ain't no just I'm in the house. Ain't nobody doing that. Everybody, like the Moor said, this is how it's supposed to be. Just peaceful. I didn't see all of that crazy. On the news, they make it seem like it's a freaking horror movie. The news is a horror movie.
And again, you know, like no different than swine flu, bird flu, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's the same stuff. People died during that. You know what I mean? You're gonna take your precautions, wipe down your shit, don't touch door handles or whatever, because you should have been doing that anyways.
Right.
Well, now because COVID, all of a sudden you're wiping down handrails. So what do you mean? What were you doing before? Like, good thing I don't touch nothing.
Right. I was even remember anthrax came out. I thought they should have did this kind of shut down when the anthrax was coming around.
Even that. Like,
Anthrax is crazy to me.
Forgot about anthrax. Shit.
I was like, yo, anthrax is crazy. Anthrax had me, because, you know, before studying and all of that at the time, anthrax was like, being, you know, black guy at that time, hearing anthrax, I was like, oh, hell no. I didn't want any of that. You know, just some powder in your envelope and you dead. And I'm like, nah, no.
That's crazy. They didn't even say, more said in the chat, they didn't even say whatever for HIV. You know what I mean? HIV even. Oh, I didn't see the more there. Hold on. Islam more.
Islam.
More.
Islam. Yeah.
Well, take off this.
What's up?
We gotta get the full screen for this one.
Islam.
Yeah, Islam.
Islam, Cujo. Islam. Me, Islam. Doing well.
Islam,
more. Islam. My first time being on here.
That's good. The first time for everything.
First time for everything.
Just let us know. Just let us know what jurisdiction you're in, and what Noble Drew Ali has done for you. You know, what prophecies have you seen that's manifested right now?
What manifests for me right now is like it's like yeah, this is bigger than myself, because I thought us in just some clubism, and until I start studying on Alfie Bay, I learned that the empire was worldwide and not just limited to so-called Africa / South Asia, you know. And this, and what he also said in one of his statements, in one of his quotes about that, I make the European tell the truth. I mean, the modern European hybrid. So, with that being said, it's like it's like a missing piece of the puzzle come together. You know, I'm speechless right now. I'm just because I was contemplating to take it to a whole nother level, because this is above me.
Right.
I just think about the collective, not me individually, you know?
Right. Islam.
So yeah, you see the economy collapsing, but for just for a good reason, because we are on the same frequency. I just resonate and vibrate on the resonance of the universe, you know. And yesterday I've seen the planet Venus aligned with the moon crescent. I've seen 3 times in a row. Not just
see that? You saw that too more? I saw that.
Yes, straight from pointed at the Western Hemisphere, you know.
Yeah.
Like where I current domicile, so-called Europe, nearby the Netherlands, in the so-called near the prophecies of Zealand, which also got some historical connection with the Iberian Celtics, you know, the Egyptian Berbers, all that. And I found out that it's not Europe, because Europe is just an attribute for the mobile quote unquote queen who who raised them, who how you call it, who raised those the European modern European hybrids over
Yeah.
here, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
And this is not just this so-called Europe is still a part of Asia or Northeast Africa
Yeah.
because I'm still in
Mm.
Africa
Islam.
according to my knowledge, according to my understanding. Even though it's limited, I'm still learning. You know, don't get me wrong. I'm another know-it-all. I don't try to pretend I'm a know-it-all. You know, I'm
Exactly.
still learning. Yeah, on my own. I know this is for goodwill. This is not just how you say not for ego power empowering,
Hmm.
just for the whole.
Right.
It's not just
Right.
me,
Right.
because I'm my own. I'm still trying to build with more out here. But
If
many still asleep. You
yeah, if
know, I'm more at the rural. I'm say at the rural like more rural
rural area. Yeah.
area. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and I'm at psychiatric asylum, so I just try to put that out there.
Right.
I don't got no shame. Don't feel
Now,
embarrassed.
now part of the story though that you could probably
He in there with
talk
his fez on. Film fez up.
part of the story that you could talk about is how you got to where you're at right now, because I remember you were somewhere else and then we had
Mhm.
conversations and you were talking about presenting yourself to them in order to
Right.
get from being in the hospital to being somewhere a little bit more open for you to be able to leave when you want or whatever.
Just to when I begin studying, I just start become aware of the unalienable rights, inalienable rights, hereditaments, incorporeal and corporeal hereditaments, but also the basic uh, human rights, which can be found on the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So I just start to express those rights to them. Say I cannot be a for the amendment person. I cannot be a person. I'm natural. I'm a natural person, so I cannot be what they have told me. So I just start to express and enforce some of those rights and let them know about the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between United States, the colony, offshoot of the British colony of New England. And I also told them about, yeah, we have a treaty, so I don't care about your protocols, this and that. I have a nationality.
Right.
What's your nationality, name, and status for the record? And on the record, let the record show. But let me just tell you this one another thing. I'm trying to get the grasp of the rest, you know. But now I'm just trying to do it verbally, not like
In
uh
paper,
in
like not
paper, but I mean verbally become more conscious of it, because I also recognize that the competence requires comprehension,
right.
you know,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
because of me start to get the comprehension, because it was always within myself, within me, but I was not aware of it first. So, and since I start to express those qualities of this field of studies, what I've learned, they took it more seriously. So that's why they relocate me. They just relocate. Oh, wait a minute. My phone is dying on me. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me get my recharger. Wait a minute.
No
Hold
worries.
on. Hold on.
No worries. Right,
You
but
would
the
think the
point,
more is at home, at the
yeah,
crib.
right. The point that like the Morris said, to put it out there, that he's under the jurisdiction of a psychiatric situation, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
um, due to him not wanting to accept the
No,
the
no.
psychiatric
Mm-hmm.
diagnosis that they gave him,
Yes.
right? So
Right, right. I'm.
he's sticking to what he
Mm-hmm.
knew, right? He's
Right,
sticking to
right.
outside, right? So
Uh-huh.
because he was sticking on it so hard outside, his own people, same thing Noble he said, his own people said they're putting him in there under the guise that they have
Our
power of
side of the
attorney,
nation.
right? They have
Mm-hmm.
power of attorney, so they can say what he could do or not because they diagnosed him as quote unquote, you know what I mean? Mentally disabled.
Mentally disabled. Right, true.
But I'm sitting there, I'm
But
having
there are
conversations
something.
or whatever. I'm having better conversations with him than Negroes and
Uh-huh.
blacks who say that they're Christians.
Islam,
Absolutely.
right.
You know what I mean? Many,
Islam.
many,
And could
many a conversation.
Islam due to,
You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
then also too, with regard to the plantation, sometimes we have to deal with those type of students or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
they're on some more manners, they're on some more respect, they're on some more self-worth and being responsible
Mm-hmm.
than people who have common sense or supposed to, or get
Right.
A's and B's and whatever.
So-called common sense.
Mm-hmm. So,
Right? So
mm-hmm.
I already knew that this was not a physical and mental interaction.
Mm-hmm.
This
Mm.
more divine
Define the patient. Define the patient. Mm-hmm.
interaction. You know what I mean?
Right.
No different than these Europeans who are telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That I know that certain Europeans aren't the devil. I know there's some that are for real. But I
Mm-hmm.
know that there's some that I don't know. You don't fall under the category of the people who I'm supposed to be hating.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just like the Moor doesn't come as he's not a Moor.
No,
But
no.
conversations with him, okay, conversations of him with other people, they think he's nuts.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
Right?
Say no more. Yeah, I get it.
especially
Oh,
especially quote unquote in the rural area where he is, where it's supposed to be a common mindset. And
mm-hmm.
he broke himself out of the paradigm, and they think he's nuts and said, forget this, put him in the whatever. So, you know, this is one of those ones that Moors could use to
Mm-hmm.
show that, okay, yeah, to show that, yeah, this is actually the
Real.
real deal. You know what I mean? Because remember, the Moor
Exactly.
is not on this side of the hemisphere.
Nope.
And I'm telling you, he was in the hospital part where
Mm-hmm.
you can't do anything. You just have a room. That's it. Now he's stressed up, walking all through the ward or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
that has to resonate with people who are trying to find their way right. They should resonate with you. I mean, if it doesn't, then I guess whatever. Right?
If I could add on real quick too, Greg.
Go ahead, Mark. See them playing
Just
with
real quick. It's even more crazier too, because look, you're all the way in Canaanland. I'm near so-called the corporate Massachusetts area, and he's all the way over there in
Netherlands. Like,
and they want to know where's the Moorish unity.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean? We almost got the whole world covered right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, come on. We're just three of us. You know, because he's, like he said, really South Asia or so-called Africa over there. You know, he's over there in that jurisdiction. You're upper North America. You know, I'm in, you know, when they play that political jurisdiction line, I would be, you know, beneath you, you know, lower beneath you on the North America, the political North America, you know, like, so basically it's all covered, both sides of the hemisphere.
Yeah.
And they question the Moorish unity. The Moors don't have any unity. And what do you mean?
And all this.
What do you?
They gotta try though.
I wanted to know what so-called insane asylum they got the Moor in, because I'm pretty sure it's probably some ancient Moorish castle that the Moors just walking around in his fez.
In his castle.
In his castle got me mad right now. I'm like, yo, he's just walking around. He's just walking around in this castle, huh? With his fez on, talking about I need my charger.
I saw his thing was freezing, so it just kicked him off. So we'll just go back to the thing, and when he gets back, we'll ask him about the castle. Just remember that, so we can ask him. I'm sure he's been outside and seen the building.
Right. Yep.
See how big can I make that? Scroll it on over here. Let's scroll it on over here. Look at that. Let's read this together, folks. This is from, I'm sorry, I apologize. This is from for all those wanted, the Monday, July 17th, 1916 issue of the Newark Evening News. I repeat, for the Moors who want it, it is the Newark Evening News, Monday, July 17th, 1916, as people can see. So let's find out now what happened to this Professor Drew. Okay, let's see. Charm of voodoo is Drew's hoodoo. I need everyone to pay full attention to what you're about to see. Full attention. Court gazing in crystal ball sees man guilty of practicing witchcraft. Could cure paralysis overnight. This ought to be good. Gazing into.
Now, before we go there, we just want to put this on the record. In 1741, one anonymous Massachusetts writer compared the hysteria and injustice of the witch trials to the slave conspiracy that was consuming New York. Rumors of a plot by slaves to revolt and burn down the city led to the arrest of 160 blacks and 21 whites. 30 blacks were convicted and hanged or burned at the stake, and 4 whites were convicted and hanged as well. As at Salem, The arrests were fueled by confessions. The first 2 slaves to be arrested named numerous accomplices, putting the city into panic. Unlike in Salem, confession did not help their cause, as both men were executed. In the midst of crisis, a New Englander sent an anonymous letter to Governor Cadwallader, warning the governor of the eerie similarities between the imaginary plot in New York and the witch trials almost 50 years before. Reading about the events in New York in a Boston paper put the author in mind of our New England witchcraft in the year 1692, which, if I don't mistake, New York justly reproached us for and mocked at our credulity about. During the witch hunt, New York had served a safe haven for several accused witches who had fled Massachusetts. And in early October, when Governor Phipps had sought the advice on witchcraft from the New York clergy, their responses largely coincided with those of other critics of the proceedings. So know that them tying Noble Juali to practicing witchcraft is the same ancestral culture of the Aboriginal indigenous people like Salem. Where they honored nature. They had a supreme reverence for nature. But foreigners will call that witchcraft. Foreigners would call that heathen, pagan. Now remember when we spoke earlier about Juali asking these Moors if they could do something and then he's going to kill them all and all that. The crystal ball told him that it's the Salem witch trials that they're doing on him. It's the whole point of why he had to flee and go to Mecca. Don't forget, in Mecca, Noble Juali came back from touring the temples to see his furniture and all that stuff in the street. So imagine what they were doing in Jersey. To put individuals on trial because somebody claimed that they're a witch is a supreme violation of due process. Well, you can't discriminate against somebody because of their nationality. Oh, you thought witchcraft is some religious? No, that's culture. That's heritage. That's culture and heritage. Honoring nature. Honoring nature. Islam more. They're trying to shut you down, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're
going crazy over here.
For real. I don't know if you had anything to add since I
Just right in the beginning, right? He, like I always tell the Grand Sheet, just let them talk and they kill themselves. As soon as he said it,
It came out of the Newark Daily News.
Mm-hmm.
And all you got to do is look up the owner of the Newark Daily News, read the history of the Newark Daily News. You will see who the owner of the Newark Daily News was. Some European, I think it's Henry something. Henry something. But if you Google him, you type him in,
and
you look up.
Got you, man.
Yep. Then you can even look up his father. His father was one of the Supreme Court judges. You know, and that's just on a lower scale of research. But then you already know. Once you type in the Schroeder family, Scudder family,
Scudder,
whatever.
yeah,
I think
the
it's
Scudder, William Wallace Scudder.
Scudder, right. And then you look up his father, and then you type in his father's name, and then you type in Freemasonry next to it, and then it blows up the whole whatever. Whatever they want to do after that. Once you see that the Freemasonry in the 1800s, and that the father was on one of the Supreme Court judges during the 1800s, we know that Congress adjourned 1861. So his dad was one of the judges during like 1880s, 1890s. So he was one of the fraudulent judges at the time. What do you mean? When he died, he gave his son some notes, and he was able to start the Newark Daily News, and it's still pushing his family's agenda. Inquisitional practices, because we already know if his father is a Supreme Court judge, you have to be a Mason to be a Supreme Court judge. Like, that's how it works. You can't be up there and you're not a Mason. You have to be. But during the 1800s, you know you were dissing Moors. And then his son is a descendant of that guy who started the Newark Daily News. I'm pretty sure he's going to push the same agenda as his dad.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm expecting I'm expecting Little Yusuf to do the same thing for me.
Right.
You know, push the agenda of our nation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what it is. So I'm pretty sure the guy of the Newark Daily News, Skyder or whatever, he's pushing the same thing. It's not even hard. It's like I'm supposed to. And then this is the same guy who they call the enemy. The white man is the enemy.
Yeah.
And then they also know, even to this day, that Europeans are putting their newspaper lies. They're pumped the propaganda. They know this. The dude who's reading this, he knows the propaganda about the news. Mm-hmm. He knows that they trump up charges on dark-skinned people here because of their agenda that they're practicing. That we know that's inquisitional practices.
And
yep.
That's why it bugs me out that he even continues on, because that's how you know it's again back to what the prophet said. Jealous of the fame and nobility.
Mm-hmm.
So they can be the ones. They want to be the ones looked at as they're the guy. That's what it is. When you're jealous of this individual, it's because you want that position. You want to do that. So they're going to push all of these lies about the prophet, or push because I'm pretty sure when he did the research, he was only doing research to discredit the prophet. He wasn't doing research to genuinely better himself. He wasn't doing that. Yeah. And then run into some, this doesn't make any sense. He didn't do any of that. He just went straight forward to, I'm tired of these Moors. I'm going to find something. That's what he did. That was his energy. That's what it is. And he keeps calling the prophet Thomas, and we already know, we already went over this before, that the newspaper, they even misspelled my title. They put Yusuf, S-E-F, instead of
YUSUF. Like he just spelled my name, my title wrong, and then they misspelled the prophet's title in the newspaper, which is again the Skyder family, owners of the New York, and then you go do your research on them. But he didn't do any of that. He just found anything that was going to discredit the prophet. Anything. It didn't matter who it came from. It didn't matter who it came from. Because I remember last time you were saying about the same video, why didn't he use any of the, because in Chicago in the 20s, there were so-called black newspapers at that time. Why didn't he just use his own people who talked about the prophet? You went and got a European who's a Freemason, whose his job is to go against the Moors. You went and used his newspaper to diss the Moors. And then Mr. Swindle used you. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look.
Hold on, let me see. Hold on one sec.
I'm back.
More back in. All right, boy. Hold on. Yusuf.
Hey, sincere apology for the delay, for the shutdown.
Good.
All right, all is well, more.
You're watching the thing too, right? You're seeing it?
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
All right,
on the
all right.
screen. Yes.
All right. Islam.
Islam.
Go ahead, brother Yusuf.
Right. Just the whole them wanting to be the guy, jealous of the prophet's fame and nobility, so they'll do anything to discredit him, and so they can be looked at as the guy. But you doing that at the same time, trying to fill your ego, the people who you call the enemy, the so-called white man, he's using your video to diss Moors as well. Like, the whole trickle-down effect is amazing right now to see this.
Yeah, the trickle-down is crazy.
Crystal ball sees man guilty of practicing witchcraft. Could cure paralysis overnight. This ought to be good. Gazing into a crystal mounted on black velvet, Judge Osborne today in the Court of Special Sessions found that Thomas Drew, not Timothy, voodoo doctor, was guilty of practicing medicine without a license and with dealing in witchcraft.
Islam, where she?
Islam,
that's bothering me. That's bothering me, man. Because this, like, why would you keep doing that? Like, you guys go hard on Europeans are the enemy. Like, they go hard on that. They always going trying to make it seem like the European this, European that, but they use the word white man. But then, when those same people write an article about the prophet and they misspell his title, you're using it. You're like, yeah, and then trying to be be sarcastic. Not Timothy, Thomas.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That's the same guy who you call the enemy. Yeah, you're using his stuff now. Like, that's what it is. Everything he's saying is legitimate. The guy who you call the enemy, he's legitimate.
This is the time of the revealing. This is Revelations right now. Pete Gabe, this is Revelations.
Yep.
Everything is being revealed right now.
Yep.
Right? Because these are the kill cracker guys. How are the kill cracker guys using a cracker as their reference point to try to say Moors or whatever, when they know that the cracker is whatever and conniving and a cheat and a liar and all the stuff, but now they got the #1 article about Noble Drew Ali exposing something. Some European Mason, a European Mason's son is who their reference point is. But they're telling you about New World Order and all this BS, deciphering coronavirus and all this, but they're using European as reference.
all of them.
Why they claim he's the enemy.
Oh, man.
They claim he's the enemy and the devil and the synagogue of Satan and all that.
Yep.
Just to discredit.
I'm telling you, you're correct, man.
Just to discredit the prophet.
Yo.
Just to discredit the prophet.
Polite video about the coronavirus and all of that. People were telling me about, yo, you should check it out. I know what you think about Polite, but just check it out.
I'm like, what?
So I'll pop
what does that mean?
Quick.
What does that mean? What the hell does that mean?
Yo.
What do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, you see, like I know how you feel about him. I know you don't like him, but just listen to what he got to say. And I'm like, all right, so I check him out. But they don't see. Like we study hard, so I'm watching him, and I'm like, yo, he's just. If you guys type in, I'm pretty sure other Moors probably know him too. Benjamin Fulford. He's like real deep in this, you know, exposing the Europeans. Been doing it for years, and his article came out like a month ago. He's been saying this for years though, and I'm like, yo, he just read Benjamin Fulford's article on your thing and try to, you know, expand on it by you would read the article and then stop, look at the camera, and I'm like, yo, that's Benjamin Fulford stuff. Like I know that article. You can anybody on your own time type in Benjamin Fulford. He's the guy that they get all this information from. All of them. And that's the so-called enemy, because he's European. But I'm like, but you guys are using them. Because they be like, oh, I got a source or something like that. And I'm like, you got a source. You're using Benjamin Fulford's channel. Like, I know that. But you guys going around here saying kill Cracker, but then you guys are using their stuff. You use it to promote your agenda, and when you get mad at Moors, to diss Moors. You use Freemason, European. I like how the Moor said it. Modern European hybrids. It just rolled right off his tongue. It just rolled right off of it. You use them to discredit Moors. The same guys who you call kill Cracker. You use them to just. It's like what is. I don't even know how they can do that. Like, and it sits well with them.
Oh yeah.
Like you go on there, show all these pictures of us getting hanged and all of this stuff, how we was getting treated, and then to diss the Moors, you're using the same stuff that those pictures y'all showing, y'all using their books. And what are you doing? You can't do that. It's contradiction. You're contradicting your whole platform right now.
True. Right, so
they stay using European stuff.
Yeah, so we'll give them some European stuff right now. Here's some European stuff for you. The history of crystal ball. From the Druids' early days of divination to eerily accurate political consulting, the backstory of the crystal ball is as cloudy and roundabout as the divine orb itself. In her book, Crystal Ball, Stones, Amulets, and Talismans for Power, Protection, and Prophecy, Sybil Ferguson writes, probably there are as many definitions of crystal balls as there are opinionated people. According to Northcote W. Thomas' 1905 book, Crystal Gazing, Its History and Practice, with a discussion of the evidence for telepathic scrying. In pre-industrial times, crystal gazing was commonly practiced by the Pawnee, the Iroquois, the Incas, the Egyptians, the Persians, the Chinese, and the people of the Yucatan. It is most likely, though, that the earliest recorded use of crystals as a divination tool dates back to the Celtic Druids of Gaul, Britain, and Ireland, who lived during the Iron Age and were pretty much wiped out by Christianity by 600 AD. The Celtic Druids of Gaul, Britain, and Ireland were not Europeans. Crystal gazing was commonly practiced by the Pawnee, the Iroquois, the Incas, people of the Yucatan. Now you put that in perspective now of the 1920s. Moore goes to court, put down the black cloth, and puts the crystal ball down in court. You talk about writs. You talk about spelling. Think about writs and spelling, and think about him going to court and then putting down a crystal ball on the table. Remember, we're talking about Egyptians knew about crystal balls. Persians and Chinese people knew about crystal balls. But also people of Gaul and Britain and Ireland. This is not some magician thing. This is him returning to his ancient foremothers and forefathers' mindset. That you are a psychic. You can use a crystal ball, and that's an owl's head. Because it's going to allow you to see in any direction. And you using that to gain prophetic insight is exactly what it's for. But you can have a tourmaline one, or you can have an amethyst one, or you can have a, you know what I mean, whatever. Any size. It's sun gazing without the sun. Islam, more. I don't know if you have anything to add on yet.
Islam. All right, real. Just to add on, this is coming out of the magazine called the American Magazine of Art, Volume 13. Page 312. It says, it was talking about so-called, they call her a Spanish lady, but at the same time they said she has 2 Moorish children. But okay. An interlude in the life of Miss Cole, coming shortly after her 2 years in Spain, was spent in the pursuit of color among the Indians at Taos, New Mexico. She felt, as others had done, the similarities. Hold on one second. The similarity between these natives and the Moors of North Africa, a similarity which may be mere coincidence, but is often thought to be racial. In her New Mexican picture, a horse to trade. And in the little nude study, quote, the crystal ball. It is possible to see how well she learned Sorola's lesson of attention to accurate portrayal. The faces of the two Indians, stolid and enigmatic, are painted with keen insight and show a gift for a portraiture. But right here, again, she's telling you the only reason, that the Mexicans in New Mexico, the Indians of Teos, and the similarities between the Moors of North Africa, which may be mere coincidence or just racial. That's what she's saying. The reason, the comparisons that she saw was the a horse, the trade of the horses, and the crystal ball.
Mm-hmm.
So the Moors here in so-called Mexico, and we know once you look up the 17th century map of Mexico, we know how far Mexico extended over, all the way up into Canaanland. And these Moors over here was in the same Moors in North Africa and in Al-Andalus, what they call Spain, all had the crystal ball. This before the prophet's time.
Way before.
Way before. Come on.
Way before. And he didn't plagiarize them.
Yep.
He didn't plagiarize their crystal ball stuff. No.
No, he's just doing what his ancestors did.
Doing exactly what his ancestors did. What witchcraft you talking about? How is crystal healing and divination a witchcraft, like some type of devil worshipping, drink blood and all that stuff?
Right. And when you look at it that way, that's like the book, the Moorish Empire in Europe tells you. Once you start looking at things that way, when we're speaking of crystal balls and esoteric teachings, when you're dissing that, that's because of ecclesiastical thinking. That's the Pope of Rome pushing that dogma. That's your thinking. It's ecclesiastical. Once you start thinking crystal balls and esoteric teachings is BS, that's because the popes of Rome were trying to get rid of that. Because they didn't want the Moors, that the whole thing was to banish the Moorish power. Like, we can't be having that. We can't be having that. It wasn't letting the Pope be able to shine as big as a jurisdiction as he wanted, because his whole thing was the Moors are the rulers of the whole world. They had to do something. They tried to change, what the prophet said, in order to change the people, change the literature. And they've been doing that. They've been doing that. Now this guy's over here, a crystal ball. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Because of your ecclesiastical thinking.
Exactly. What was the word again for the cut hair? The cut hair.
Oh, the Mortmain, Mortmain, was Mortmain. I was going crazy.
The Mortmains.
It was.
That's these Moors right here. Mortmains. Yeah, say the thing. Say what it is. The Mortmains. This is them. All of them.
It means to cut, right? But it was the cutting of the hair, because we know, like the prophet says, you're not supposed to be cutting, your hair in your head, your beard, and whatever. But one of the ways that they would Christianize the Moors was shave their head. It was called Mortmain. It meant to be able to Christianize them by cutting of the hair. And just like when we look at the movies and you always see European monks
they would shave the middle of their head and keep the sides of it. That's what they were trying to make Moors be looking like. Mort means part of the Catholic or Castilian Empire. Now you're submitted, to them. I was going crazy. Mort mean. I said, Mort mean? The heck is a Mort mean? It was a bunch of stuff. It was saying at the time when the Moors was falling, this is all in S.P. Scott, Moorish Empire in Europe, 3-volume book. It was saying when the Moors was falling, how we had to get a prescription to be able to do something. Like to be able to, I forgot what it was specifically that we had to do. But it was just amazing to me to see the word prescription used as like permission to be able to do something. Because I'm like, well, in 2020, we think prescription means that's the people you got from the doctor. Right. like, what do you mean? Moors needed prescriptions to be able to do. Now I'm like, well, what's the real definition of prescription?
But again, but check the play too. That's right in tune with what they're talking about with them saying Judge said that he needs a license to practice freaking medicine.
Here we go.
You don't need no license. What prescription you need to do what?
Look at that. Ecclesiastical thinking. You went right back to pushing the Pope's agenda. That the Moors needed a prescription. No, they don't.
Oh, because they can't win there, now they're going to say witchcraft. Because they can't win by saying you need a prescription or you need a license, then they go with the defamation. Because remember, these are the same individuals that have the article. These are the same individuals who in secret, they wear fezzes and they call their temples everything Arabic. And they're calling themselves esoteric names when they get to their high seat of whatever lodge they're in. But that's not witchcraft though. But what Drew Ali is doing is witchcraft. When this is ancestral.
Which when you look in the dictionary of witchcraft, it just means someone of knowledge. A sorcerer, someone that deals with magic. Like when you look it up in the dictionary, it doesn't mean the way they're saying it in this connotative meaning. Because he added that emotional attitude onto the word, like, oh, witchcraft. Because you did that with your emotions. Now the word has gone not to what it was because of your emotions. Now, because you're using emotional today, and that's another tactic. You're using the emotions against the people. Because when you look at the video, he got like 30-something likes and 12 dislikes. And I'm looking at it like, these are just ignorant people. A bunch of just ignorant. Either you're a Christian or you're just hating on, jealous of the prophet's fame and nobility. Because that's when it comes down to. You're just not well studied, or you're just jealous of the fame and nobility. It's not putting up. I was listening to Bobby Hemmett the other day, and he was going in on why a lot of people don't want to accept this information. It's because like we've always been saying. But to see that Bobby Hemmett was pushing it in the 90s, that these people don't want to lose their money, their notes, because, now you're in church. You got your church community family,
that's been helping you. You don't want to lose your friends, or you're in this Black conscious community or whatever, and these is your people that you've been with. You don't want to mess that up, so you just keep accepting the BS. And he said it's just like gang members. They accept being in the game because this is my family here. Nobody accept me. And I was like, wow, that is what's kind of going on too. Like, I do see that people don't want to give up what they have because of all the so-called investment they have with other people. Like, I've been friends with this guy for 30 years because y'all been going to the same, church or whatever. And they ain't trying to change that. They're not trying to change that. So they'll just completely not hear what Moors are saying, or argue with you to their last breath. The dogma, not care about your definitions of words or nothing. Like the Moor did me years back. Literally through my dictionary.
Couldn't take it.
Through my dictionary.
Couldn't take it, yeah.
Couldn't take it. He didn't even want to see it. I don't give a F about that dictionary. Asking ignorant questions. What do you think the word means? I'm like, what? That's not how the world works. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. If I think and believe 2 + 2 is 5,
then that's what it is.
Right. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's not what you think and believe. The teacher's still going to put an X. That's wrong.
That's why you're supposed to have your crystal ball.
Right.
So you could be empowered and be guided. And, in this form, you might not even need a ball. It might be a rod. It might be a pyramid. It might be a blob. Crystals melted together or something. Have your stuff on you. Because if they're saying crystal ball, then obviously they know about that technology. If they're printing crystal ball, and then that's something from the Druids and all that, then obviously there's no negative there. Remember, that's your stuff to bring back. Don't look for anybody else to be exercising your thing. Even there's a part in here. What is this? As a more modern, high-profile crystal ball counselor, Jean Dixon was gifted a crystal ball at an early age, developed seeing powers, and became something of a celebrity psychic for her sometimes on-the-mark political predictions. Most notoriously, she correctly postulated in a 1956 issue of Parade magazine that a Democratic president would be elected and then assassinated, said president being John F. Kennedy. That's not to say she was always correct in her guesses. A number were outrageously wrong. She was positive that Alec Baldwin would fall terribly ill in '97, that Ellen DeGeneres would crash a presidential inauguration, and that in 1958 would see the beginning of World War III. Dixon apparently carted around her trusty ball at parties, stopping to give the occasional reading for passers-by. During Nixon's time in office, Dixon acted as an advisor after correctly predicting a terrorist attack. And she then joined Nancy Reagan's coterie of trusted astrologers. After her death, Dixon's primarily crystal ball was auctioned off at almost $12,000. Notes.
I don't think somebody's gonna pay 12,000 notes for nothing.
Yeah, and that's what they say they got for it.
Right, that's what they say they got for it. Right. But again, when you have ecclesiastical thinking, your mindset is still not thinking this. You know, you're thinking.
Yeah, you're not thinking it's your heritage. Yeah, you're thinking some. You're thinking like that.
The best.
Yep.
Because they was looking for Jesus.
looking for Jesus. You're looking for Jesus.
That's exactly what happened. I said, yep, that's it. That's the answer for everything right now. They just simply walked right past that man. Why? Because they was looking for Jesus.
Looking for Jesus. Crazy.
And then you know the news. When you look at it, you're like, man, that newspaper did a good job. Branding the people, throwing them off, making them not know literature, what words mean, and stuff like that. They just all off of emotion. All off of emotion. All off of emotion.
Noble Drew Ali is the man. Right? So they're gonna use whatever they could use. Right? Bottom line, to attempt to discredit the work that was done.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that were said to prove the point of what he's here to do. Right? Where are we at? Let's see. Yeah, we talked about the work. The Holy Prophet said, imitate I the Prophet. And he said, Moorish leaders, live a life of love so that you will be loved as I the Prophet is loved. Right? First principle, every day, all day. That's the best way, Moorish leaders. Because this is really about the people. Remember, that love has to be internalized in order to live it. You can't live a life of love that's outside yourself. And if we're about to be loved like how the Prophet is loved, it means that we carry on the traditions. We keep doing the things necessary to make us better citizens. The Holy Prophet said, at the end of time, those that will be in the apparatus will be able to look down on earth and see people that you know fleeing for their life. Right? How many times in our lifetime was it the end of time? Pandemic, plague, and all this. Tsunami.
Right. Yep.
End of time is personal. You have your own revelations. You don't worry about some world revelations going on. You better worry about your revelations right around you. Because if you're on that beach when that tsunami hit, then that was just you paid your dues. The end of time is personal. And those that will be in the apparatus, because they had their crystal balls and they had their self aligned with what they're supposed to be aligned with, they'll be watching the destructionists fall for the last time. The Holy Prophet told the Moors, in 2 weeks, I'm going down south. When I get down there, the Ku Klux Klan is going to stop me. At first, it is going to look like they are against me. Then they are going to lead me where I am going. The Prophet made the trip and the things happened the way he said they would happen. And then he said, why the KKK? And why not meet with his brothers? Because brothers were sellouts. That's why. And just like Marcus Garvey said, at least a Klansman is being honest. And he'll tell me he doesn't like me. So I know how to deal with him. Because he let me know where he stands. Cool. You can stand where you want to stand. That has nothing to do with me. Just make sure when I come to town, the road's clear. So I can do what I'm supposed to do. Now I'm following the Negro acts and all that stuff that you guys are trying down here. So I already said I traveled in the South. When I got there, I realized there are people that's playing around. They have nothing to do with these Europeans. If I can, if it's, we always bring up the Django movie. If this one Moor could have freedom to have his own saddle, why are all these Negroes standing around not being him? What are they waiting for? Yeah, C. Freeman was laughing right now too. He's laughing. C. Freeman was laughing right now. That was a good one. That was a good one. That was a good one. How does the C. Freeman out? How does the C. Freeman out? How does the C. Freeman out? Right? What are they waiting for?
It was down.
This man got escorted by KKK, and they're looking at him like, why is that escorted? Can't. What do you mean? You know who those people are? They saw this brother, and you thought, oh yeah, they were against him. It's just like when Moors get pulled over and everybody crowds around waiting for something to happen, and then nothing happens, and then nobody's running up to say, hey, what just happened? How come you didn't get your ass beat? How come you didn't get shot or whatever? What do you mean they let you go? Why they let you go? You don't want to know? You're not curious? The amount of times you see a black guy pulled over and you know how it went. You're not even a bit curious.
Nope.
That nothing happened. Okay, all right, well, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. The Holy Prophet said, if you doubt that I am a prophet, watch my prophecies.
Yeah. He made sure he killed them every time.
Holy, hit them hard.
Islam Grand Sheik.
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna have to yield.
Yeah, do your thing, more.
Giving me that.
You already know.
Look, she needs some help real quick.
Apples,
So
yeah,
let me
apples.
just
Get it in more. We'll build. Islam more.
Give thanks. Islam to all the Moors in the chat. You know, Islam to the Canaanland Moors. Give thanks to the Grand Sheik and his platform. And honors to the Prophet. He's the man.
Yes, he is. Islam more. Peace and
Islam.
love.
Islam. Peace and love.
He knew what he was on. That one. But it's just showing. One day you will see $20 bill in the street and would not bend over to pick it up. Stuff is going down. Stuff is going down. Print what? A Moorish leader must study his constitution and bylaws and his holy Quran. But Yusuf was talking about the Holy Prophet Noble Ali said, if I cannot teach you here, I will teach you on the soul plane. If I cannot teach you here, I will teach you on the soul plane. Because the conflict can't be told in words. What we're up against can't be told in words. You have to be part of it to know. Now there's, again, over 200 of these. 181. Before the bank crash in 1929, Sister A. Brown L. of Temple 4 and 25 said that the Holy Prophet told the Moors, if you had money in the bank, to get it out. Some said that the Prophet told the Moors to put their money in the post office. Those that obeyed the Holy Prophet saved their money, and those that did not lost their money. Brother Carrington Bay of New York said that one day he was at the annual National Convention, and Brother C. Kirkman Bay sent for him to come outside to witness something. There was a European man, his wife and daughter there. The European man asked C. Kirkman Bay, where is that little man that used to be around? Brother C. Kirkman Bay let them know that he was no longer with us. These Europeans started crying. They were looking for the Holy Prophet. That man was able to save his money during the bank crash because he obeyed the Holy Prophet and took his money out of the bank. Now, if a European is going to adopt the teachings of Noble Drew Ali. European is going to consider what Noble Drew Ali said. And remember, you say bank crash, 29. Now 33, 29. And then they got the prophet out of the way. And this European coming to thank the man should let you know how far his reach extended. That should put it in some sort of perspective for you to be able to have a greater inner and understanding of what Noble Drew Ali brought and how important it is to the saving of the nation. And that's the only thing that could get us out we're in. The Moors doing what they're supposed to do. Right? In unity and love, because that's what it is. Right? The Holy Prophet said, the Moors were living up and down the Mississippi River before the European man came here. If you're living up and down the Mississippi River, there's two things happening. One is tying you to over here. The Mississippi River is over here. And if you were living up and down that river, you're probably more than likely Aboriginal and Indigenous to this side. And the second thing is that if you do your studying, since now you know that you're in Mississippi River, you're going to do your studying about the Mississippi River, and then you'll find out that the Mississippi River is the Nile over here. So being that the Mississippi River is the Nile over here, and we were living up and down the Mississippi River, that would explain all these mounds that are pyramids that are going up and down the Mississippi River. And all of this was going on before the European came here. The Holy Prophet told the Moors that we need to have warehouses. Huh? Well, the Moors never told you? No, they never told you. Huh? No. You have temples though, but no warehouses. You know, a lot of things were 100 years past what we should have before you start talking crazy about, so let's have a warehouse then. Yeah. Got your finance for that, or are you just talking crazy? You're not going to put up the million for us to have the warehouses. Shh. No talking. Because we've been supposed to have warehouses. If he said this in the 1920s, before our time, then the people before us should have made sure we had warehouses. If that's what Noble Drew Ali said, and they're going to tell you about more Science Temple honor Noble Drew Ali, no. If that's what it's about. If that's really what it's about. But, you know, you already know. Don't get mad. Get active. The Holy Prophet said, Moorish leaders, don't burden my Moors. Which is what these leaders did by not having warehouses for the Moors. That the Moors would have a Moor Science Temple with a warehouse there. That anybody who's Moorish American right now would be able to go there, show their nationality card, and get their rice, milk, whatever it is that they need for their household. And then it's done from the perspective of nationality, not some religious club. You know what I mean? So we would have our own people importing, you know what I mean? And everything was done. Everything was done. Well, one day, the United States will not be able to do any business unless they do it through the Asiatic. And then anywhere that's European, that's in control of something, their front piece is somebody who looks like us. Right? The whole music industry, us. Entertainment industry, us. Science, us. Literary world, us. But then we get nothing from it. And then we get nothing because we haven't had a status. So property can't own property. And that's that. Keep it moving. Those who aren't property are going to keep being prosperous. Mujali told you in the 20s, I come to set you free from the state of mental slavery that I found you in. The state of mental slavery that he found you in, he's here to free you of that. And again, don't look at this as some club thing. You get it. Join Moorish Science Temple and all that. But this is about your birthrights. This is about, you know, you probably want to study this information. For real. You want to do that. You got to make sure that you put some energy toward this information. Islam, I see you.
Islam.
Islam,
Islam. Yeah, good job. Forwards prepping, you know, I just looking for wires to try to get before we recharge again, you know.
Yeah.
Wow, we good.
Islam more.
Islam more.
Now, with regard to again with the position that you're at, how has the studying helped you?
How it has helped me. in the sense of trying to get more awareness of myself and my kindred, of those who are of the same descent. So it helped me to be, to become aware of my rights, the existing rights, which came from my own mother. And she wasn't, at that time, she wasn't aware of it. But since I became aware of my birth and bloodline, and also noticed the dogma tradition celebrated every year during the so I started connecting the dots, nursery rhymes and all this stuff talking at the school. So and I started listening to underground hip hop as master builders, and I also listen to as see you know you didn't track back then.
Yeah.
And I listen to those of the and start to gain information, but gain knowledge yourself. Be on the street trying to join in some gang and all that stuff, and came across all the information such as the publication.com, and started to get real. And so I found out that I was on the right track. So thanks, honestly, Prof. Noble Druddy, he's the man.
Islam.
Say no more.
Straight up.
Oh, straight up.
Islam.
Islam.
Oh, Brother Yusuf was asking, were any of the buildings that you've been to Moorish designed or anything like that?
Some of these so-called municipalities, or yeah, they are closely related to the Holy Roman Empire. I think so. Of course, they got Moorish architecture over here, but you have to deep, not just at the surface. No. And I also send you some picture of a mother goddess, Matrona. She is called Nihilinia, something like that. No. And I've sent you the picture. You can see clearly that's a Mobitus. No, it's not like I try to imagine things or fantasizing or want it to be what I want it to be. It is what it is. No, it's not like make believe.
Right.
But it already exists. It's in plain sight. We can deny it, but when you have seen it before, you already connected the dots. There's no denying anymore. There's no such thing as coincidence. So, with that being said,
So it's definitely not. It's no. It's definitely something that even when you were younger, you felt you were connected to this.
yeah, even when I
Yeah.
was younger. But then, since I since my childhood, I started looking up. I was not aware of these misnomers and number gears such as Los
Right.
Indios. So, but I had the connection back then since childhood. That's right,
Mm.
because it's genetically related to me. It's in my DNA. It's more than meets the eye.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like,
That's the majority of Moors. Yeah. Exactly.
you know.
Yeah.
First, I was like, why we are things that's in plain sight. And still we,
Right. Exactly.
mhm. So honestly, the mothers as well, because without mothers, I wasn't here.
For real. Islam to all the mothers.
To all the
Islam
mothers.
to all the mothers. Islam
Mm-hmm.
more. Before we close out, you got anything to close out before we close out? Any last
Oh yeah, I
words?
got something to. Oh yes, who's turn? Never mind. I guess I got something. Yes. I spoke some few days ago. I spoke with brother Kasir L. Conway L. Stephens. You know Kasir
Islam. Yeah.
L.
Yeah.
And he told me to do some build. Every month so that we'll sit down, become affiliated with Canaanland Moors. So this what I want to share with you at this
Islam
time.
more. Give thanks. Give thanks.
Okay. Um,
Peace and love to all Moors worldwide. Honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali for everything that he did to get us on the right path.
mm-hmm.
Because we know that it was a big job, but he held his own for us, and we give supreme honors to the Prophet
Right. Reminders to
for
the prophet, really.
making sure that it's right and exact
Mm-hmm.
for us. We give supreme honors. So peace and love to all Moors, and we'll just run that one again for the closeout.
Salute. Highest honor to the prophet. It's so real. I like this. I love how this sounds. Yo, we needed a prophet and one was sent. So from all our sinful ways, we can repent, make things better for the children out us. I know good citizens that got their hands cuffed by color of authority and color of law. We're not improper person, you're outside of law or outlaw. They might call you ruthless because you're acting like Orpa and don't know what the truth is. Making claims you do, but caught in emotions, being parts of movements that lacks motion. Activity is nil, null, and void. Haven't mastered Earth, but your cosmic and right asteroids. waiting for the mothership. That's macabre, thinking that the mother isn't also the father, thinking that our son is the only one, thinking young men are killed with only guns. We got it so twisted with pretzel thoughts. Talk big by yourself, but when you're in courts, pulled over by piggies giving them jurisdiction. To kill a racist cracker talk is the purest fiction. All y'all do is talk it and don't walk it, then claim it's racism and they made you forfeit. Throwing in the towel, moving your bowels in skinny jeans when you hear or see the sirens. What's wrong with colored people? They're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually snakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. What's wrong with colored people? They're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually snakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. Talk is cheaper, action's cheaper. Thought you had the Molotov and street sweepers to kill pigs dead, I'm sure that's what you said. Cause from Panthers and Malcolm X is what you read. It got you nowhere and got them dead. Arguing rights in a black status, shot in the head by your own people who took a check instead of nationalizing, deciding to work for the feds. Children hungry, but they're not talking that bread when making excuses. Why from A to Z? They say they never sold out, even though they hold out. Prophet said, see them in the back, don't get the old out. New Moors were on their way, but now we're here. Moors conscious, dress their best, not like rapping queers, selling their soul. They go to market their bodies on the auction block, red carpet. I'm speaking what's true, but hearing I'm rude, not true. Y'all are squares like a Rubik's Cube. Always asking who's this dude. I don't catch feelings. Why push pillars if you can't catch ceilings? Too much backdoor and under table dealing. Keep that up and I'll keep trader revealing. I keep eating rappers, MCs kneeling. Fire I spit, got reptilian skin peeling. What's wrong with colored people? They're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually snakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. What's wrong with colored people? They're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually snakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown.
Astro boy, the cosmic, this may be esoteric, but who knows it will feel it. Who the cap fit won't wear it, and the fence fit speak it. If you have questions, ask for more. Stories make your mind explore. You're more than a black man. The caucus plan, destroy a nation. Consent to being black, so the power is fiction. The effects of the Inquisition. My brown hand holds my ink in position. So I'll exterminate you quick from my existence. If you think you can't corner our resistance, instant without thinking, I make it unbearable. Think the unthinkable. Try to battle God who honors five principles. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. This I seek through my exodus. If I told you I was white, you'd probably say, who the f*** is this? Dictionary's not wrong, it's just your perspective. If the fountain says color, why you drink it? You just signed an agreement. Salute. Salute.
What's wrong with colored people? They're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually snakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. What's wrong with colored people? They're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually snakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown.